cent fare to him across town. And he'd have a wallet bulging with money. I remember one time I hit the power locks in the old 84 LeSabre. That was the taxi I drove, an 84 Buick LeSabre. And I hit the power locks, and I said, "That's fine, I'll just take you down to the police station, but I won't charge you for the trip." And he was just like a cat trapped in a car then. He was just like, "Oh, what? No, And I stopped the car in the middle of the street, and I said, "Well, then take your money out and give me my money. Pay me." Because he was trying to tell me that he didn't have to pay me for the ride when I got him where he was going. And so I didn't care for the guy, and he used to make barnyard noises all the time. And so I said, I didn't want to sound like him. That's what it was, because I really disliked this guy. So anyway, I had a friend who he used to hang around with, and he used to go over to her house and hork greenies up on her. Not the treats like Rocky likes. I'm talking about boogers from his throat. He'd hork them up on her cupboards and on her refrigerator. He'd throw fits. He'd stab at her cupboards with a steak knife. I just didn't like the guy. Anyway, back to the story. I'm getting off on a lover tangent here about people I don't like. There are a few that I really dislike. He's dead now. Hood passed away a few years ago. But anyway, back to my story. I told Emily, I said, I don't want to sound like I'm making barnyard noises when I call her name. So Emily said, Ella. She said, oh, well, we have to add something to it then. She said, what could we add to it? She said, I know, Ella. And the name suited her perfectly, and I thought, that's who she is. That's her personality. She's Moo Ella because she's like a cow, but Ella's kind of a sweet, a very feminine name, and Moo Ella was a real lady. She was a real little lady, she was. So anyway, I thought, okay, she was definitely female in every regard. Trust me, she was very feminine creature. And right down, she was very catty when it come to other cats especially. She'd accept Rocky being around, but that was it, because Rocky was her brother, But she didn't really accept having other cats around and stuff. She was kind of jealous going and catty and possessive, like was common with females. And she was also, and very standoffish at first until she got to know you, which again is common with females, and very fearful, which is common with females. But once she got to know you, and once she decided she loved you, she was 100% loyal to you, and she just loved you and trusted you completely, which again is common with females. So anyway, it suited her to a T, and she was a very pretty cat and stuff, and so that's what I called her anyway, Moo Ella, because that was her name. Anyway, that's the story of how my cats got their names, how Rocky got his name specifically, but also the other two that are no longer with us, have passed on now. And yeah, anyway, there you go. You can see what a great job this toaster does. This is a real godsend, this thing is. When I worked at Canadian Tire in 1990 in the outdoor sports section of Canadian Tire with the gardening supplies and the camping supplies and stuff, we used to sell those toasters. That toaster will flatten right down, and you can put it in a box that's about a half an inch high. And the wires just collapse right down into the base of it. And we used to sell those at Canadian Tire for a camping toaster. They were a really popular item. Hadn't seen one in years, but when I bought my camper, the people left that behind in it anyway. It's a great thing. I remember it being a really popular item back in the early 90s. Back in 1990 when I worked at Canadian Tire, I sold a lot of those. Never owned one until just now, though, but I do remember them. I think they sold for $3 or $4 back then. Something like that. Anyway, there's my story about Rocky, and now he got his name. I'm going to go back and check on him, make sure he's okay. These shirts are moldy. That's the reason they're hanging there. Gotta find Rocky. And the carpets are here to be rained on and cleaned. Where'd Rocky go? Rocky! Rocky! Little bugger. Okay, could be anywhere really. Like I say, I can't see what you're seeing right now. I gotta keep an eye on my toast here, make sure it isn't burning. Okay, let me go around here. You know, where did he go? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna run out of time on this video probably soon, so I'm gonna shut it down. We'll talk to you all later. I gotta find Rocky.